everybody, Amy White with Worthy Written Words. Today we're going to be in Mark 9, verse 50, and the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 coats of clear gesso all over this page because we're going to be using a lot of water and we want to protect not only the text from rubbing off but it also bleeding through to the other side. So we put 1 fine coat on you don't want it to be super thick because then it'll leave weird brush strokes when it dries. So just a normal amount of clear gesso, and mine's bubbling funny in the video because I have a design on the back side of the page that is making it do that. Yours most likely won't do that, but once you are done putting that on, then you have to let it wait and let it dry, or use a heated tool to have it dry more fast. And then after it's dry, fully dry, then you can put a second coat on and do the exact same thing all over again, and wait till it's dry before you start the next step. The first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this clear sticker in the bottom left corner, and I'm going to put it on so that the umbrella is above and not covering verse 50. That'll kind of help you line it up because verse 50 is the one that we're focusing on, so we don't want to cover that one up. It is a clear sticker, so whatever you cover up, you will be able to read underneath. This is going to get really messy in this next step. Don't worry if yours gets really messy. That's why I included a solid color. In fact, at the very end, I just give up and brush completely on top of her. So don't worry about how messy you get with her, except for around where the text is. But first, before we get into that, we're going to cover up verse 50 with some junk washi tape. Junk washi tape is just washi tape that you don't need for anything else, and you are okay to use it knowing that you're going to peel it off and throw it away. It's going to protect the verse underneath from getting color on it so that it stays nice and bright white when the page is all done. So after that is on there nice and good and tight, then we're going to get our watercolors out, the watercolor that came in your kit, and you're going to want some water, and you're going to want a wide brush. I think mine is like 1 inch wide. And I'm also going to cover this other side of the page up with the junk washi tape, and this is to protect it from getting the watercolor on the other side of the page. I would also try and get it really good in your binding so that it doesn't seep through your binding onto pages on the other sections of the book. Now once that's all set up and you have your big brush, I'm putting it just regular water on top of the page first. And I'm doing this so that the watercolor doesn't get soaked in, but rather will spread. If you don't get it all wet first, what's going to happen is you're going to have a darker look, yes, but it's not going to be even. It's going to be very like cloudy, I might say, or depending on how you apply it. I did this page twice. The first time I did not love how it turned out, so this is what I did. I put all the water on first, and then you can see how it glides on really light, but it glides on pretty evenly. There aren't more spots that are, you can blend it pretty well. And I'm trying to keep it from getting on my page underneath it. So if it does get too wet in some areas, you can move the scrap paper out so that it doesn't attach itself to the page behind it. Now I'm going to keep adding water to my little pan. I'm just like dunking it in the water bin and then letting that water soak up into my brush, and then I'm adding it. And I'm going to be fighting these bubbles the whole time from the page underneath. Your page shouldn't have those bubbles like mine do. And I'm going to keep adding more watercolor and letting it dry, and adding more watercolor and letting it dry until it's about the dark that I want it to be. Just be careful around the umbrella where the words are. The rest of it, where the girl is, if you don't want to deal with this where I'm having to go really carefully around her, you can just go right over her because we're going to cover her up eventually anyways. When I was doing this part, I didn't know I was going to cover up, but it just got too hard to keep it tidy. Now I'm going to cover up this clear sticker with a not clear sticker, but I don't want to cover up the words. So I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut off the edge of the umbrella so that I can still see the clear part underneath it, but then the rest of this disastrous sticker is covered up with a fresh non-see-through sticker. And so just do your best to put it right on top. Now, if you want to just do this at the very end, you can do that and not put her on at all until the very end. That's another way to do it. Now that it's all dry, I'm going to take off the washi tape, and you can see here that the blue has gone through onto the white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a clean brush with just water, and I'm going to rub the water over and lift up that color, and I'm going to lift it right up off the page. Because we have the clear gesso, it will let us do this. If we didn't have clear gesso, then it would be what it is, but this will allow us to pick it up. It has to be a clean, wet brush, and just rub the water around and lift up any paint that you want off of it, and it'll get it nice and clean. Now I'm going to add the Stay Salty stickers, and I'm going to put them using the lines on my margin. I'm going to use that to line them up so that I know that they are straight and that they are slanted appropriately. If you don't have lines, you could put a piece of paper or a ruler or something to make sure. It wouldn't be too hard to just eyeball it either. But I line them up in my margin, and I put the Stay all the way to the left, knowing that the Salty is going to go underneath it and a little bit more to the right. But I'm going to leave some room between this and the umbrella to put some raindrops, I guess, with using the stencil and using the white gel pen. So said white gel pen, it's part of your kit. We are going to use this as well as the rain stencil that comes in the kit. And I'm going to line it up so that the cloud is right underneath the word salty, but I'm not going to do the cloud. I'm going to do the lines underneath it. So using the white gel pen, I just put them in the stencil, and it may not work as well your first time, but it's okay. You'll get an idea of where the lines need to be, and you can let it dry and then go over it a second time without the stencil, and you can might be able to get a better flow of the ink. If you are having a really hard time getting the ink to come out, I like to scribble on a piece of scrap paper and just get any dried clumps off. But this is what it should be looking like. And then you may need to pick it up and let it dry and then align it somewhere next to it so that you can continue the pattern. And I put the stencil above the umbrella as well as below for a little bit, but I don't want it to go too low because you don't want it to interfere with the salt that's going to be falling. It might be confusing if the rain is too close to the salt. So keep it away from the salts. That's the salt container she's holding, and it's going to be spilling out some salt. So just do it above and a little bit below the umbrella. Now I'm going to add just a few white dots around the Stay Salty using the white gel pen, and I'm going to do these in groups of 3 above the Stay and below the Stay. Now we're going to start adding the salt, and it's really hard to see because my big hand is in the way, but we're starting to have it trickle out of the salt container, and it's going to make a path down to the bottom, and this is literally just little dots. You can just plop the dots on there, you can circle the dots on there, however you want to do it. I make some bigger than others, some smaller than others, but we're going to put this all the way falling out of the salt container and then all around her feet as well. Now I'm going to attach these clouds using a glue stick. However, after I put this white one on, put the tab on before you put the silhouette cloud on. And it makes it hard with all the watercolor. It might come off of your cloud like it did for mine. So I had to put it on really thick and goopy so that it would stick. So put the solid cloud on, then put your tab on up top, and then put the clear cloud on top of your tab. Now I'm just going to add a few more little white dots up by the clouds and call it good. I hope you guys had fun with this page and how to use a white gel pen as well as watercolors, and we will see you guys next time. Be sure you're subscribed so you can stay up to date on all of our latest video releases. Okay, bye.